Hello, lover. You've just entered a portal of pleasure, power, and deep, unapologetic sensuality. This is Talk Tantra to Me, where we liberate your authentic self, reclaim the wisdom of the body, and let pleasure lead the way. I'm your guide, Leola, tantrika, pleasure priestess, best-selling author of Sacred Sex Ed, and devoted student of the erotic mysteries. I'm here to strip away shame and awaken your most radiant, sacred, and sensual self. Get in, babe. We're conspiring for your most pleasurable life and seducing the world into a greater good. So, take a deep breath with a vocal exhale, relax that delicious body of yours, and let's talk Tantra. Imagine what could happen if you decided every sexual experience got you closer to your highest self and God. That is a quote that comes straight out of my best-selling book, Sacred Sex Ed. Sacred Sex Ed is the sex education that you never had, but that we all desperately need. One that is empowering, honest, and pleasure-based. It is the pathway to a future in which we feel empowered by our desires rather than a slave to them, in which we feel celebratory of our nakedness and vulnerability. Sacred Sex Ed is creating a world where we can openly and emphatically talk about the energy and acts that brought us into it. This book is not diagrams of genitals, nor is it Kama Sutra positions. It's about having deeply fulfilling intimacy, starting with yourself, with your beloved, and with the world. You can pick it up right now on Amazon. Just search Sacred Sex Ed or find the link to purchase it in the show notes. Can't wait to hear what you think. Let's get back to the episode. Hello, lovers, and welcome back to the pod. Today we have on Kristin Birdwell. She is the best-selling author of Sex, Drugs, and Soul, which is such a fun book. I devoured it. It's a page turner. It's just like such an easy read, but also deep and wise and sweet and relatable. So thank you for bringing that into the world. She's a storyteller in general, just is incredible at telling stories and inspiring other people to write their stories, and not just write their stories for the sake of writing a story, but to really use our stories to initiate others, which I really value. And that's something that you've brought into the Pleasure Priestess now. And I've seen you work it into other containers, and it's really, really cool. And you're a tantric muse and pleasure priestess. So really incredible to have Kristin in the space. I first met Kristin a year and a half ago, I guess. I think the first time I met you, you came to the Yoni casting workshop that I did with Sam. Who is also a pleasure priestess, an incredible woman who does Tantra out of Austin. And she's also been on the podcast. I forgot the name of the episode. But anyways, that's where I first met you. But you had also, I think you had already signed up for Pleasure Priestess.
Yeah, I can't remember if I did both or if I did the casting and then signed up for Pleasure Priestess. But once I get a little inkling or I make my mind up, I'm like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah. Is that how you are with all things in life? Are you so you just trust?
If I really am really feeling it.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I'm stubborn. Or what
I am doing this. God is speaking to me and I am listening. I love that. I love that about you. It's challenging, I think, for a lot of people to be that trusting of their desire and those inner signals, because we've been so conditioned to look outside of ourselves for answers. And I think that there's so much resistance for so many people stepping onto the tantric path and into this body of work because of how taboo and misunderstood it can be. So I really commend you for doing that. Anyways, that's when I first met you. We had a whole year. I got to experience who you are, your power, your magnificence, and also your potential on this path. And then I invited you in to do another year in the Pleasure Priestess to deepen and to step more into leadership. Mm-hmm. And it's been so cool to continue this journey with you. But I want to start with who were you before this path? What was your life before Tantra, before becoming a Pleasure Priestess?
At what age do we want unruly rebellious teenager?
Yeah.
Or do we want young 20s? Doing a lot of that external seeking, for validation, because I've done a lot of experimentation in that space. So whenever you said trust, I was like, that's something that is newer-ish within the last couple of years.
Oh, cool.
The self-trust and that sort of thing. And otherwise, maybe I was just throwing the spaghetti at the wall, just seeing if it would stick or not, or just following a curiosity. But I don't know if I like fully had that trust until more recently.
Cool.
I would say though, I do kind of have always been courageous. Like
Yeah.
I've always, even if I feel the fear, I'm like, I'm going to do it anyway. So that's always been like some kind of value that was instilled in me, mainly probably because I grew up a poor old kid in East Texas living in my imagination, and
You got to take
I
risks.
had big dreams to see and do and experience the world. So.
And you fucking did. Like, you have fucking lived. I really resonate with your story because I feel very similarly. You grew up in small town Texas. I grew up in small town Missouri, in environments where, I mean, I read your books. I feel like I can speak to your experience with like a level of like truth without, projecting too much. But yeah, grew up in this environment where probably like our full authentic selves weren't welcome, and it might have even been dangerous to like really step into our full authentic selves. And there were just lots of limiting beliefs around what was possible for ourselves in the world, and lots of scarcity and taboo and limitations. And to see someone like, it wasn't like it had to have been written in the stars, right? Like it wasn't, it takes a lot for someone from your background or my background to step into this world and this work, do it courageously, make massive impact, like completely rewrite our entire conditioning, create a new vision and a new slate for ourselves. And then on top of it, inspire other people and step into that. So anyways, yeah, tell us more about where you're from, how you got here.
I definitely like, a memory of like riding on a bus and like sharing this like new possibility I discovered with my stepdad. And then she started praying. She's like, I'm going to pray for you. I think you're going to hell. And so like, just so he had opened me up to, I was like, why aren't we going to church anymore? He was more of like the new age philosophy. So I got both. I got like this, but I'm like, okay, but I don't want to go to hell. What's going on?
Yeah.
And then, he's like, well, you likely only believe what you grew up around. And so he pulled up this map of religion on our computer, like dial-up style, and it was color-coded. And so I remember thinking, like, okay, there's countries here that believe this, and I believe this mainly because I grew up around it. And I'm like, if that's true for religion, what is it true for otherwise? Like everything.
Yeah.
So that gave me like a desire to go and explore. At the same time, I think it kind of created a slight duplicity. Like I'm going to keep some of it to myself until later on in life, where I'm like, I'm going to share my story. There's power in that. It helps like incite possibilities. But I do remember like feeling that shrinking sensation because I was sharing her like, I'm so jazzed up about this. Like, what about an all-powerful creator that could create something where we're not burning in hell, or just like, and she's like, oh, that's too much, push against her beliefs.
This was your stepmom.
This was like some chick on the bus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Had plenty of battles with my stepmom, though, too.
Yeah. And then you learn to suppress those parts of yourself and fear.
In some ways. Like, in some ways, I would kick back. I was always rebellious. I never liked someone telling me what to do. I was always drawn to the taboo. Like if you told me not to do something, I was probably doing it just secretively. I had a old school Nokia, like drug dealer style phone. Cause at one point they told me I couldn't talk to boys on the phone. So I was like, I'll find a way. I'll get innovative. And so, yeah, it's just, I remember getting into arguments with my stepmom as a kid, and she would throw things at me. And, sometimes I would pick it up and throw it back. Other times I would go run and like hide and lock myself in the bathroom. So I feel like she felt a little bit threatened of the relationship I had with my dad.
Yeah.
And maybe, physicality wise, I looked like my mom, and just a whole tornado of things there.
Yeah, I also grew up with step parents and all of the interesting toxic dynamics that can come from that, unfortunately. And that also colors a lot too, for sure. Okay, so grew up East Texas, small town.
More cows than people, like 106 people in my graduating class. Close knit. Like I feel like I got along with everybody, but then I realized, years later, I'm like, that wasn't everyone's universal experience. Yeah. Just because I was friends with the cowboys and the jocks and the book smart peeps and like just kind of like made my rounds doesn't mean everybody was.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like took that for granted a little bit, I guess, too.
Do you feel like you were like a chameleon or?
I'm like, I feel like I held my own, but I definitely probably would keep certain friend groups separately or hang out with certain people and then later on in life, for sure, I'm like, who do they want me to be versus
So
like who I am? Yeah.
yeah, I really resonate with
Yeah.
that. Like, let me become who you will validate, who you will feel safe around, who will please you, basically. And there's so much beauty in that. Like, there's shadow and light to everything, right? And that ability to be adaptable and to meet people where they're at is like a true priestess gift, I would say. And it also has its shadow of like, and where are you showing up authentically? Where are you being poured into? Where are you using your unique frequency to step into your soul path, your dharma, etc.? So you had this upbringing,
Yeah.
and then
I remember a key break point. If
Okay,
I
let's-
get,
yeah, let's go into it.
just speaking about like going to the extreme or the shadow side of that.
Yeah.
Because I remember like coming home from Paris and Rome, and I would have done everything that was going to make me feel happy,
Yeah.
loved, all those things. And I get back and I just feel so empty. And then I'm like sliding in my suitcase into the closet. I'm like looking out everything in there, and I'm like, none of this shit really matters. But I was told that it would make me happy or, portray the
Yeah.
image of that. And then I remember sliding against the wall of my closet and just like having a fucking breakdown. And just like, I don't even know who I am. Like, I've been like adapting to be who everybody else wants me to be, or like to be the ideal child or the girlfriend or like
Yeah.
all those things. I was like, how did I go from that tomboy, rebellious, the go-getter dreamer to this person that was just so adaptable to everything? But it was also like a moment of like, okay, I know that now I know this. I can't unknow this. So I've got to step out of this closet and do something about it.
Yep.
And then like,
Confronting as fuck.
I was like, ah! Yeah. And then just kind of started like more of a seeking journey in a different way. Like moved to California for a bit. Grief then was another slingshot on my journey.
Yeah, let's talk about how you
Yeah.
went from like small town girl to then like millions of dollars, not millions of dollars, thousands and thousands of dollars of designer clothes in your closet, like flying to Europe, like, and then you have
Yeah.
another death. Like, what was the journey like from?
Yeah, so in college, I saw this Dr. Phil episode where it was like this older guy and this woman, they were in love, and he was like sponsoring her lifestyle, sugar daddy, and like filling, their age gap with designer clothes, condos. I was like, shit, I like older guys anyway. And I'm like looking at my bank account balance, and I'm like, I'm happy if it's in the plus, and I'm working like these little, off jobs while I'm in college. And then I signed up, and I think initially that when I first signed up, I was like, I got ping, 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 ping. I felt a little overwhelmed. I'm like, okay, maybe not. But then fast forward a couple years later, when I was a senior in college, I signed up again, had a little more booze in my system, a little more gumption. I met this guy, or saw this guy's profile, and it was witty. He was handsome. He was like, you want the mountains or the ocean? Well, you don't have to pick. I've got homes in both. And then I was like, yeah, he's like, you want to get together and make some questionable decisions? I was like, sign me up. And so I show up on his doorstep, and then like from there, like a week later, we're in Mexico on, private jet there. Ocean's crashing in below. He's reciting Shakespeare word for word. And I'm like, I'm a word gal. I'm like, who is this? What did I just sign up for? I felt head over heels for him and for like the lifestyle he could provide, and for what I thought we could be.
Yeah.
And who I saw him in that glimpse of a moment, which wasn't the totality of the relationship. So he was like a good sponsor and confidant and friend for a while, but is also like turbulent and abusive verbally. And I probably stayed past expiration date. Although to this day, I mean, every now and then he'll send me a text, or I'll send him something occasionally, just be like, you still doing good? Like, yeah, we're still doing good.
Oh, that's
I sent him the book before too, and was like, if there's any identifying details that you want me to change, totally will respect that. It's not going to stop me from publishing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he gave me like a glowing review, and he's like, this is incredible. Yeah. And I waited 6 months to send it to him because I was so nervous and scared. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like you can't predict it.
Yeah. So if you want the full story of that, definitely read the books. That's really what it's about. And then also so much has happened in the book that we haven't touched on, but also afterwards.
After the book,
let's talk about what kind of shifted, like What was the main takeaway that you got from that part of your life that has now fueled this next season?
I feel like I found the first, like the book ends in 2019 and it ends at like a yoga teacher training where I find grace touching myself. It was like my fingertips felt foreign. I hadn't remembered the last time, if there had ever been one, where I'd touched myself like with tenderness and compassion. I'd always been striving for perfection and like bouts with body dysmorphia and just like exercising, just like not working out, not necessarily to feel good but just to like look at a different angle, kind of awkward,
Yeah.
and I broke down and cried then. And then so it was just like slowly, bit by bit, have been taking steps since then. So whether it be like mirror work, awkward as fuck, like, okay, but then it really catapulted, like definitely since Pleasure Priestess, and what was that, 2024? Yeah.
Yeah. So what was your like first thoughts or like entry point into Tantra and this type of work?
I pretty much had a sexual awakening. It was like during sex with someone where our breath was synced. Our eyes were, we were doing the eye gazing thing, although I didn't know that's what it was.
Yeah.
And it was like we were reading one another's minds, and it felt like transcendental in a way, but also super grounded. I was like, what was that? I even like messaged him a couple days later. I was like, did you study like Tantra or anything? He's like, nope. And I was like, what happened? And then I read this book called Sex Shamans, and it opens with a story about a woman that kind of has a similar experience. And it's like, actually, no, I was ready for that. And so it just kind of like, okay, then I'm curious. And then I start reading some books, and I go to the Austin Tantra Festival, which is where I saw you from a distance for the first time. I was like, who is that? And then ISTA, and then maybe another container called Pussy Genius or something. And then yeah, Pleasure Priestess.
How did it feel going into these spaces initially? Like, did you have any like fears, or like were there edges that you came up against? Like, what was it like to step into this?
I mean, yeah, definitely edgy. Like, definitely feel all the things. But I kind of had a sense that the vulnerability that it would require, or was gonna get me the connection in life that I desired.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's different ones. And I would just kind of listen. Like, I remember a Ladihan at the Austin Tantra Festival where I was like, I kind of want to do both. I want to do that, but then I want to like watch everybody else and take my blindfold off and be a voyeur and like watch too. So I kind of, a good balance of I want to observe and then actually participate. But yeah, I felt edgy as fuck going to ISTA. I felt like that was like personal growth. Like, I didn't know what exactly I was signed up for, because like the itinerary was so, I didn't like scout it out on Reddit before or anything. It was like, okay, this is day one. Like, we're doing this day one.
Yeah, it's intense.
And then I did feel a little bit of, I'm like, okay, I guess everybody's taking their, So I'm like, well, I'm not going to be the one that doesn't. Even though, so like, it's like retrospectively, it's like, okay, I probably would have been, in that moment more comfortable with bottoms on that first night. But I was also like looking around, like, rising, to the group think or whatever it is that it's like, okay, I don't want to not do the thing if this is going to be so profound on my journey.
Yeah, I think it is an important thing to note that in these spaces where we're working with like deeply powerful, intimate, potentially sexual work, that when you're in a group of people and like you've never done this type of thing before, group think is very real, and like your nervous system and its responses are very real. And I learned a lot from my experience at ISTA. It sounds like you did too. And there were things that like I would do differently and I choose to do differently in my containers because of my personal research and experience with working at the pace of your nervous system and really empowering people to trust themselves. And I think it's really potent that you harvested what you could from that. What were some of the like edges that you came upon? Like, what were like some of the stories that you told yourself, and how did you actually overcome them to continue on the path?
Like edges at ISTA, or
just in general?
I mean, in general, even I remember on the first phone call for Pleasure Priestess, like just feeling so nervous to say my name, like just to speak. I think I spoke last. I was like, I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
so even then, and maybe because there was like an element of a sister wound too,
Yeah.
and fear of judgment from other women, even though like I desperately sought that connection, but I was also kind of a little bit arm's length at first, or, and writing has always felt second nature for me, that the actual speaking of it, and I wanted to come in open and honest and vulnerable, and so that definitely felt like an edge.
Yeah.
And then
How have your relationships with women transformed from that? Like you leaned in, like you still chose to spoke, you still chose to allow yourself to be seen, and now not only are you like showing up fully in those spaces, but you're also like leading those spaces.
yeah, and then friendships have evolved and developed outside of there. So it's definitely enriched my life. I didn't think I have a lot of good girlfriends, but they live in a lot of other cities. And so to have some that are home based in Austin, it's really nice and nourishing. And to allow that and to just express it too.
Yeah.
It's like to get the fear out of here. I'm just going to name it. That was one of them for sure. I'm trying to think of other ones that I've come across. I mean, even like I remember at ISTA too, like the speaking in the circle or going into the center of the circle for something, and owning how I may have used my sexuality or sensuality for manipulative ways, or, in the past, versus like wanting to, be more intentional or conscious about it in a way that honors everybody, instead of feeling like I'm, becoming someone else, so they think this, and
Yeah.
it was just like murky, but so that felt edgy.
Yeah, I'd love to talk a little bit more about that, like this idea of like how do you reconcile your relationship to your sexuality when what as women we've been taught about seduction and sensuality is that one, it's manipulative, it's dangerous, it's wrong, it's going to attract unwanted attention. And in a way, like in your earlier years, you capitalized on that. And men also capitalized on that. Like it wasn't like, you were completely out of integrity with what, like, everyone was signing up for this role, right? But now things are quite different, but you still have this sensuality, this magnetism, this seduction. Like, what has it looked like, and what has it taken from you to reconcile those?
I think forgiveness first, like,
Yeah.
of past self, and like it gave me all those lessons and little goodies and stories to share,
Yeah.
and that or points of resonance with other people. Always going back to grace, and then like the ownership of sexuality and sensuality, and like keeping it aligned with my authenticity as what I feel like has amplified the magnetism.
Yeah.
And attracts the right people into my life too. And then even like the money that I've made since making that shift has like doubled. I mean, it's just been interesting. Like I feel like the expressing and just being honest about what you're looking for, what you're hoping to, boundaries, fears, desires, what transformation there is for available, or how they want to feel on the other side of XYZ.
Yeah.
There's a lot more intentionality and presence. I think I used to live in my head a lot more too, and I still have bouts of that. But I think there's I really try to be where my boots are.
Yeah.
And when I'm with people, I I want to be there.
Yeah.
And I think that can be felt too. And then just the sensual practices helps ground me. Even on the drive over here, I was like, okay, I gotta rub my arms a little bit, and like, because I was feeling like the little nerves and anxious excitement a little bit, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get there early so I can just like sit in my car and breathe for 5 minutes, and just touch my skin lightly and soothe myself.
She's using her body as a mystery school, everybody. I love it.
Breathing. I'm like, there's so many different ways that I'm still probably in the process of discovering it too, somewhat, but.
Yeah, it's been such a beauty to see you like really take to this and blossom in it and step into this space fully. And I'm curious, like, what took you from like student learning, like flirting with the tantric path to like, not only like am I making this my way of life, but I'm also going to I'm really going to step into this with purpose. Like, what was that journey from flirting to devotion like?
It brings tears to my eyes. Just because whenever I think about like all of the earlier initiations from like childhood to onward, and for me to not step fully into it would be a disservice to like humanity, me across the board. Because it's like, because I have had all of those different experiences, it just felt like an alignment of like, of course it's this line of work then. If I can speak to this and meet people that have been through, you know, this trauma or abuse or way of thinking and being, and shown that like, hey, you can make it out the other side. Then through, whether it's through stories or sensuality or just sitting with someone, chatting. It just felt like, I was like, oh, okay, duh. And for me, it gives like the meaning, or assigning that meaning to it works for me. And so it could shift, but I believe then we are stronger because we go through things, or I've always, I guess, been of the resilient nature. And so it just kind of like, okay, this clicks. And I had wanted to shift for a while, like, because I had sugared in a different capacity after my book came out, because I thought I was going to be done with that lifestyle. And I was like, I think I can do this in a more empowered way, more conscious and communication. And if I don't want to hang out with someone, I don't have to hang out with somebody. I don't owe anyone anything. And so but then I wanted to shift into more of like the tantric body work and and shift to sacred arrows. It just felt like a more aligned with the direction I was wanting to go. And so that was also like a stepping stone, or like a nudge. Or I kind of think whenever I listen to like my little nudges or curiosities, it's kind of like future me telling me something in the present moment. Ooh. That I'm like, okay, if I just listen to that and follow like one step at a time, I'll meet her.
I really love this idea of when I feel that nudge in my body, when I feel that certain tickle, that's my future self talking to me. And like listeners, like, where is your future self giving you that little bit of aliveness that if you lean into is going to activate your highest timeline? I do this thing nowadays where like I will anchor into who I am now, and I will legitimately connect to past versions of myself and send past versions of myself messages.
Me too.
It's like, it gives me chills. Like, it's so crazy.
I'm like, I had a moment earlier this year I was like, okay, it's been 10 years since probably the lowest of low point of my life.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, it's me today. Pinging her, being like, sister, just keep going.
Chills.
I mean, like, for real. And I just was like, it was just like a hallelujah. And you're gonna make it.
And I do think that the more that we practice that now in the present moment, connecting to past versions of ourselves with love, with grace, with encouragement, with messages, the more our future self will also do that to our current self, because it's setting this pattern, this tone, this relationship, right? And like time's an illusion. Like that's been scientifically proven. So I love that you brought that in.
Yeah, I love nonlinear time, playing with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll even write letters to myself, from my future self to myself, or to my past self. And it's really cool to see what transpires. I think I found a letter that a future, then had written, present then, about like the book writing process, or like, people are reaching out to you and, just thanking you with how their words landed or resonated, and and is also just like a help to belief, to put like the wood or logs in the fire to keep keep it going. But I totally believe in it.
I see you, sister, already so spiritual, deeply devoted to your path, but something in you knows there's more. You've meditated, manifested, maybe even danced under the full moon, but have you fully felt the power of your unapologetic pleasure and sensuality? Have you allowed your body to become your greatest teacher? Have you stepped into leadership in love? The Pleasure Priestess Initiation is your next step. A full year of deep sisterhood where we do life and love together. Online, in ritual, month after month, and in the flesh for a juicy in-person immersion. We'll explore powerful Tantra practices that you can take home and adapt, whether for your beloved, your sisters, or even for your own community. Plus, we'll have amazing guest sexperts, medicine women, and other powerful priestesses already walking the path, coming to share their expertise with you, as well as group masterminds, an electric WhatsApp chat, and high-level support as you step into your fullest expression. The initiation is open for enrollment now to start at the end of October, but as soon as you join, you get access to the vault of over 70 hours of previous Tantra trainings, resources, and the vault of our past guest teachers. This is more than a program. It's an initiation into your power, into your pleasure, into the woman you know you came here to be. Are you ready to awaken the pleasure priestess within? Click the link in the show notes to claim your seat in the temple, or visit us at www.talktantratome.com/pleasure. Yeah, one archetype that I feel you really embody and that you've also kind of claimed as like a part of your professional persona, it's like your pleasure priestess archetype, the tantric muse. And I want to talk a little bit about that because muse has also been a word that I've really identified with over the years, and I think it's such a core expression of the feminine. You know, like way back when in college, I remember learning about courtesans for the very first time. And I became obsessed with these like high end, basically escorts from like the Renaissance. But they were like the only women that were allowed to read and to write. And they learned musical instruments and they learned about politics because they were seen as well as like advisors to their clients, to their men, whereas the wives were really just like breeding machines, unfortunately, in most cases. And so I've really resonated with the geishas, the courtesans, and even with like, you know, sex work in the modern day. And I like that you went from this like flirting with it and just doing it without really any guidance or really knowing what you're doing. And then coming back to it and saying, okay, like what if I was a little bit more intentional about this? And then graduating to a level of like, what if I like used this tantra work to like seduce men into their hearts? And like inspire women to reclaim their full, authentic feminine radiance. And like, yeah, I'd love for you to speak into like, what does tantric muse mean to you? And like, how has that changed over time? Like the archetype of the muse for you?
Yeah.
Anything on that?
I'd say that as a kiddo, for some reason, I always just say like, I aspire to inspire.
Aww.
And yeah, it brings me down. I'm like, I don't know what that makes me cry. And for me, like that muse is like a source of inspiration, and that can catalyze like insights or new ways of being or moving through the world or new possibilities. And it can be through voice or speaking. It can be through someone's essence. It can be, you know, I think of like muse in art and like, and we can also be our own muse too. Because I don't really believe in like writer's block per se. I believe like what you give energy to is gonna be so. I'm like, if I choose to believe in the muse versus the block, and sometimes I'll even like in a body work session or something, I'm like consciously, intentionally like I'm calling you forth into your greatness, or just sending love and that sort of thing too. I'm like more on muse. Yeah, I just like to live in that energy as far as possibility.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of like speak and talk around pain points, and I get that. That's points of resonance. But I feel like when you lean into possibility and imaginative and visualization, and it's like a hope. It's like someone can see the light out of their pain point or feel it or whatever it may be.
Yeah. Walking permission slip.
Yeah.
Truly. Okay, cool. I would love to go back to this idea of like tuning into your past self, tuning into your future self. If you were to tell the version of yourself, let's say like 3 years ago, because that's kind of like the beginning of your...
Was that 22? Yeah, okay, yeah.
Your kind of tantric path. How would you inspire her? Like, what would your message be? Loaded question.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking... Like, keep following your curiosities. Like, there's a whole big world and big heart that you have.
Yeah.
And you're going to expand your capacity to feel in all directions. And you're going to make lovely and beautiful connections. You're going to birth some really beautiful projects into the world.
Yeah.
that are going to inspire and uplift and have rippling effects. Something along those lines.
I love it. I love it. And we're like wiping our eyes over here. And it just feels, it's really sweet to hear this because I know some of the impact that you've made, and I've seen it and I've felt it and I've witnessed it. And if you could like really brag to her about like you wouldn't fucking believe that I'm doing this, or like, you know what I mean? Or like, like you mentioned, like, like like you're doubling them, like we're like all of those things. Like, let's talk about
I re-added up that this morning. Like, girl, we're in double six figures now.
Oh yes,
and we still have a full quarter.
Oh my God, babe.
I was like, fuck yes. And then I just recently committed to like writing too. So I'm like, we've got some juicy stuff a brewing, and I've been leaning into that a little bit more too. Or like pick what's juicy, pick what's alive. Like, is it poetry? Is it songs or a book? I like leaning into the juicy. You like the sensuality is going to bring you alive. I've had some powerful, like yoni healing sessions myself. And I feel like there was a few sessions of those that were to clear some muck or clear some lineage stuff.
Yeah.
And
massage that trauma out of the pussy.
Yeah. And then the other was, the orgasmic or potential. And I thought of something else too. It's like, you're going to fucking trust yourself that no matter what happens, good, bad, ugly, sad, beautiful, what you experience it all. And sometimes within the span of a week, there's going to be an underlying sense of trust and peace. Yeah. And I don't think I had that then or before then. And that's definitely newer. And so I'm like, we trust ourselves.
And it's great. I got me.
Not to say that I won't have my horizontal grief moments or my, ecstatic dancing or just like being in awe or the sense of wonderment. Like, wow, this is a life that I've created. Like, this is fucking beautiful. Like, go team. So I feel like it's expanded my capacity to feel and.
Yeah. I'm curious, what has it been like to move from being like the student of this work to becoming like a leader in this work? Like you like, and I've seen you be a leader to multiple demographics, right? Like you've, led some of the women in Pleasure Priestess through ritual, through depth, but also worked one-on-one, with men and with couples. Right. And like, so, I mean, there's like, what stories do you have? Like, what has that journey been like to go from student to leader?
It's been incredible. It's been great to have the support and the nudges, like especially like for the masterminds and the like guest sessions in Pleasure Priestess. Like I love like, just like asking the right questions or like, just some voice memos back and forth. Of course it felt like a growth edge. Like I was like, yes, but it's like one that I want to say yes to and just slowly. And then the work primarily has been with men, and it's been so beautiful and paradigm shifting. And like, there's so many men in the world that are longing to connect and be vulnerable and heal their shit and live a life that is authentic and true. And, cause I think that there's like a lot of stories around man hating right now. And so it's just also been so beautiful to get feedback that's like, they're like, I can finally connect and be vulnerable. I'm never going to have, I've left behind one night stand culture and I, that hug and that grounded hand holding you gave me completely changed my life. And I was like, that's what changed it. And it's just tender. And from all ages and demographics. So it's like, that was maybe young 30s, whereas, it spans to late 60s or early 70s. And so to see that range of people like consciously making choices to better themselves, that better the world. And then you said something the other day that I was like, oh my God, I didn't look at it like that. Because you said something about how not only have I, impacted his life, it's also the women and the men that he interacts with going forward in his life.
Yeah, I think it was specifically that one that said, like, he's done with, like, hookup culture, one night stand culture, which, like, that is like a freaking epidemic among like young people and men. And not to say that there isn't a place for casual intimacy, But think of how many women are going to be saved the potential heartbreak, grief, like external validation patterns that like are going to shift because of how he is able to communicate and step forward. You know, like it's so incredible. And like, you know, him connecting with his guy friends and sharing his experience and talking about it. Like, it's just really, it's really, this is how the world changes.
Yeah, it's been beautiful.
This is how the world changes.
I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah. And it's really cool too to see, like, again, like you've been in self-development and like coaching and like all of that for many years, but going into Tantra, like you were pretty much like immediately quite successful, right? Like to go from, it's very rare that you find a profession where you can go from, like you can start making multiple six figures as you are now, or as I have gone through that portal, like within a couple of years, because it's like, this work is so in demand, like, and it's so needed. Like people have done plant medicine, they've done, you know, therapy, but like we're ready to get into our bodies. We're ready to feel really held and seen. And like, yeah, I'm curious if you have any.
I think there's definitely been a piece or trends, you know, people wanting to escape the human experience. And yeah, coming back to the body. I know for me, like for a while, I was like, can I meditate or hum to to reach enlightenment or something? And then for so long, I had to, you know, I thought sexuality had to live over here, spirituality had to live over here. I was like, how do I integrate these two? And so Tantra felt like a homecoming to that body piece, and connecting the two, even like the mind. I'm like, the mind's in my brain or something, right? Or collectively, I don't know where it exactly exists, but it's part of me and who I am. So connecting, like bridging, like the mind, body, spirit for me. Yeah, I think the body piece is so important. It really felt like a homecoming. I was like, oh my God, this doesn't deny my human desires. Like I'm allowed to have these desires, and it resources myself.
Yeah.
Like the self-touch and anything from like the little shower moments where I'm like, okay, I love that. I know you've spoken to it before about like those little quick moments. It doesn't have to be super elongated.
Yeah.
Like they'll just be in the shower, like really feeling the warmth of the water on my skin or visualizing shit going down the drain. And I'm like, what do I want to rain, you know, of inspiration is raining down on me ahead? You know, is it creative ideas? Is it love? Is it abundance? And believing that it is already done has been important for me too. Like the version, like a future self vision.
Yeah.
And like, it's done. I've just got to take the steps.
Yeah. It's really cool how Tantra is truly holistic in that it's addressing the energy that literally brought us all into the world. We're all here because of this energy, right? And yeah, I love what you were speaking about too. Yes, like it's really incredible that, like, let's just think about, like, you've invested, like, you know, quite a bit into this world and work, but you've also like massively made that back, which is so fucking cool. But like the money, like all of that, like fun, flashy, love it. And it's changed your life, you know, like how you interact with the day to day. Like I think, and I say this because I know the path too well, because I went down the path. I've guided countless people, and now you're speaking to it too. Like we just rush so much through our lives, and we forget like that pleasure is dancing and is available to us in any moment. And like, what would it look like to make my life a meditation of how much pleasure can I receive in this? How much can I fully receive the life that I'm living? So something like slowing down in the shower. It's not like you need to have a hour-long Joe Dispenza meditation every day, which like love it, here for it, also amazing. But sometimes it can look like, well, I'm already in the shower. What if it's like, I'm not even taking up any more time, but I'm just like present, like enjoying myself.
Instead of like, know? Let me just get this shampoo in and out.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I love that. Okay, where do I want to go next with this?
I know something came in and then it went right out. I'm like, I'll trust it to come back, bro.
It'll make its way. It'll make its way.
I mean, I do love like asking myself questions too.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Like the affirmations piece. Like sometimes,
talk about askformations.
Yeah,
I don't think that
affirmations or affirmations. Like if I'm formulating a question, I saw it on like a TikTok. I'm like, I'm gonna give this a shot.
Yeah.
And so I'll also be like, how am I so abundant? Or why do I always meet the right people at the right time? How am I so lucky?
Yeah.
Or like, why does life feel so pleasurable? You could like weave those in any ways, and then I feel like it's priming our subconscious to look for the evidence to support the answer in that. And so those have been great. Or even like lately, I've just been like, show me how good it gets today, God, thank you. Or just like I'm like, thank you.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet little
And
prayers.
I interchange like God, universe, spirit, source, Gus, because for a long time,
Yeah.
because of growing up in the Bible Belt, I had to shift the relationship with the word God. It used to incite a lot of judgment, but now I'm like, I felt God in the bedroom. I was like, if he's everywhere,
Yep.
or she is, I like to interchange the pronouns too. I'm like,
Yep.
if God is everywhere, that includes the bedroom, that includes our sexuality.
Yeah. One thing that I love about Tantra is that we're not so much looking for God in the sky or like in some deity or even necessarily like in the Bible or in like word. It's really about like, can I find God in the places that I never thought to look? Can I find God in my own body? Can I lick God off the floor? And like it really ritualizes life. It really ritualizes
And like
life.
treat my partner as divine, or
Yeah.
partners or whatever. I've experimented and explored, in that realm or vein too. Is like, okay, do I think I'm more open relating style, or am I more monogamous, or
Yeah.
so it's just been like a experimentation, kind of like seeing what shoes or and hat fits and
Yeah, once you like see that, okay, like God is in everything, it really releases a lot of the judgment around what's right, wrong, good, or bad, and allows you to see like, where is God serving me in this season of life? So like there's been seasons where like I found my highest self being monogamish or solo poly, but like in other seasons like now, I feel more divinity in really seeing God in my husband and in like our unit, and I really love that as
yeah, I
well.
do too. I'm like,
Okay,
that's what
so
I'm calling it.
oh yeah, tell
Yeah.
us more. Yeah, how has this like world work perspective shifted dating, relationships, your long-term desires?
I mean, giving myself permission to change and evolve has been huge, and not like
Yeah.
fixating on one or the other. Um, and yeah, it's shifted to now. Like I just thought, I was like, I have so much love in my heart to give. I was like, I guess I'm open or poly or, whatever label. I'm like, do I have to put myself in a box or label it? And then, but it's now shifted to desiring that adventure buddy, ride or die, all in, friendship, lover, husband. I'll say that now. And I used to say, like, I don't even know if I ever want to get married.
Oh, you want to get married now?
I
You want a
would
husband?
with the right person.
Oh, totally. Of course.
Yeah,
Only.
but I used to be like, oh, I can do Kurt Russell, Goldie Hawn thing. But I think an element of that was like, am I trying to be the cool girl?
Yeah.
I'm like, actually, I do want to be chosen or committed to in that capacity, and create the container that works for us, or as seasons progress or change and evolve. Like, I trust that we can have the conversations that we need to have, and if we need to have like a 3-month ish period, I'll be open to it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of where I'm at right now, and sitting with that. And then I have just visions of more books, and I'm working on a TV series right now, and about like kind of like in the sugaring space, which is kind of fun to collaborate on.
Oh. With who? What does that look like?
So I have a writing partner, and so it's kind of like a Sex and the City meets Californication in the sugaring space.
Oh, cool.
And it's because people are curious about it, and there's so many nuances, and I have like freaking so much experience that, and I'm
Yeah.
willing to speak up and show my face, because a lot of people will talk about it, but they're still not going to put themselves, be like, hey, I've been in this world or around, because of like family or judgment from culture
Yeah.
or society. And there's a lot of humor that's available. There's
Yeah.
a lot of cool stories and
Yeah.
insights that'll be shared through it. So
Yeah, we live in a really interesting time where for thousands of years, as a woman, you've kind of had to choose between the Madonna or the whore, the wife or the courtesan, right? And we live in this time where you can kind of be and do it all. And actually, it's kind of in your best interest to like bring it all online. And I love seeing that like you've had this like chapter, this life of like sexual reclamation and owning your power in this space, which I have a question about that. But then also now it's like, and what does it look like to really devote myself in partnership as well? And for so long, I felt like I can't be both. Like if I'm going to really be in my full sexual expression and essence, and even actively share that with the world through my podcast, through my work, etc., there's no way I'm going to be able to like bag a good man. You know what I mean?
Similar fears.
Yes. And in reality, like, what if like these men are so fucking lucky that they get to date me, who like has it fucking all and will give them that level of devotion?
Yes, please.
And that's really what it's coming for you. It's like, I mean, obviously it came for me. And I literally wouldn't have met my husband if I didn't step into this work.
Yes,
and like
please.
he's like, I didn't know this was possible to have this level of commitment, love, depth, and also like an acknowledgement of like our humanity and our sensuality, and like have a safe space to be all of me. Like it's really cool. But I'm curious to know, for women that like, you know, aren't really interested nor like on the path of wanting to do anything like sugaring, what could women learn from that body of work, or like that type of beingness in the world, like that level of like magnetism?
The magnetism.
I think that there's lots that those women could still benefit from in that type of life. Not saying go do it, but like, what are the codes that we could drop?
I would say there's a lot of like sensuality definitely helps, and like the curiosity around intentionality of how you're moving in the world and where you're coming from. I know you've said this before too, but it was big for me and key. It's like, okay, am I moving from love or am I moving for love?
Yeah.
And when I ask myself that question, it just clarifies. And like, am I coming from like a sense of clingy desperation energy? Well, that can be felt.
Yeah.
So the more I'm like confident and owning and like strong within myself, like that's going to be felt.
Yeah.
And reflected back in relationships too.
Yeah, I was in New York a few weeks ago and I went to this like really, I wouldn't call it like a strip club. It was kind of like more like a burlesque club, I guess. And I was talking to a couple of the girls that worked there, incredibly beautiful, talented, smart women that were like, had these awesome, like they performed there, but then they also were like creating these films and like, you know, teaching foreign languages and just doing a bunch of other interesting things. But the woman was saying, she was also engaged, and we were talking about her partner, and she said, honestly, I feel like women that have worked in these fields have the best men because we're the most picky, because we know like what all is out there and like what's really, I don't remember exactly how she phrased it. I feel like I should have been more clear on this point before I made it, but
I can see where your intuition increases, like with the more sensuality practices that you weave into your life, and you have like a certain level of discernment and or less judgment around men, and they feel like they can open up more too. Like it's a safe space. Especially if you have been in the field and you've seen like all different expressions. There's a ton of different like mind, body, like spirit practices I think that one could weave in. You know, I'm going to create a course about it, but I haven't yet. Yeah, because after doing the, Sugar 101 / feminine magnetism and Pleasure Priestess, I was like getting a lot of good feedback, and I'm like, seems like there's more curiosity and pull here. And so I'm going to, create a script and course and just put it on my website eventually.
Kristin came into the Pleasure Priestess after going through the program for a year, and then came in and like did more leadership things, like taught more things. And you've taught this. One was the erotic storytelling.
Oh, I love that. Like that fantasy.
So good.
That's another one I'm going to do.
So good. And then the second was this like feminine magnetism, and like the things that you've glistened from sugaring to then bring to
like a little mystery. What makes people lean in or makes you curious?
Yeah, absolutely. I also remembered, as it goes with these women that have fully reclaimed their sensuality and their sexuality, and even used it like capitalistically in a way, I remembered what it was. So these women, like stepping into this work and like really being fully embodied in your feminine essence and radiance triggers the shit out of men. And so it's honestly like the best filter for like dating, because it's like you have to have a really secure man. Like you have to have like a fucking alpha that like is like, yeah, you're fucking connected to God, you're intuitive and you're an oracle. Great. I want to hear what you have to say. I'm not trying to quiet you down and disempower you so that I can feel powerful. No, let's fucking be a team, right? I see your sensuality, and like you're like, I'm so like the masculine could be like, I'm so in my head all day making all these decisions, and like, yes, I want a woman on my team that like can drop me into my body like that, and like, she has emotions, but like she's able to alchemize them and create art and like help me do that with my pain. Like real men want that shit.
And I've been or I've received comments from someone before that they're like, your emotional, like just expression of like, it's like, I don't know if I've ever witnessed something like that
Yeah.
before. And it's very beautiful. Because I think it was very contrasting to a previous
Yeah.
relationship that was more cold and isolating or distant. And I'm like, well, it's just gonna come. Like,
Yeah.
And I think for a while I
Yeah.
suppressed them, but no, it's like they just gotta express.
Yeah. I also feel like our capacity for like everything is so much greater because we're not fucking drained all the time, like keeping up this act of like perfect wife, perfect girlfriend, perfect boss, perfect friend. So we have the capacity to do and hold so much more for ourselves, for our friends, for our men, and that's really attractive as well.
Like the more I feel like I've embraced my messiness, my humanness, the more spiritual life has become, the more it's flourished, the more it's like, we're all imperfect and we make mistakes. And what kind of ideal was I seeking for so long that didn't exist?
Yeah.
And what kind of mask were we wearing and doing a dance? Like, no, let's drop those, put those aside, be like, create a little safe space to be yourselves.
Yeah, I totally hear you. Switching gears a little bit. So you had the year in Pleasure Priestess. What made you say yes to going again for another round with this elevated kind of position?
A big piece of it was the sisterhood. I wasn't ready to say goodbye to it. I was like, I'm going to be kicked out of the chat if I don't. Yeah, there was an element of that. I was like, I still had that, and then I like the nurturing and the accountability of stepping into leadership. I knew that was a pathway I wanted to go. Or like I was taking steps and like by the end of year 1, I'm like, okay, I'm out of the witchy and like the Sacred Arrows closet. Like I'm out. I'm out. And then I wanted a little additional support as it continued to transpire and ping the chat or you if I have like, okay, there's something's feeling crunchy or I'm coming across this. Like, what are some insights or wisdom that can be gained from the collective of the women too?
Yeah, if you don't have a sisterhood where you can like fucking twerk and like flash your pussy and then also like fall down and cry in their lap about like things that you didn't even know you were upset about, like you're not in the right room. And the room exists. It's been really sweet too to see like the women, like I know a couple of the women now are like in Guatemala together and I'm just like, oh my God, I love this so much. It's such a sweet fucking group of ride or die ladies. Like they get it, because like I grew up around a lot of women that like really judged me or like that, you know what I mean? And it's so nice to be around women that not just like don't judge me, accept me, but are also like, I see your mission, sister, and like I am cheering you the fuck on along the way. It's really cool.
Lifting you up instead of like trying to pull you down or something or judge.
Yeah, it's a new sensation.
Catty.
It's a new sensation.
Yes. I love it. I'm here for it. So that was another one. The nudges too. I was like, I know if I sign up and I commit, like I'm doing this. So there was like definitely an edge. I'm like, okay, but yes, I do want to lead these, the guest sessions or the mastermind and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have a ritual in mind that I'll tell you about later, but.
Oh, I'm curious. Maybe give us a little taster.
Maybe something around like bringing in an archetype or like Inanna and like in death, rebirth.
Yeah.
And some sensual pleasures are being fed by this. This one I would probably have to do in person or feeding oneself.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll talk about it maybe for the in-person initiation.
Yeah. That's what's kind of alive right now.
Sweet. Awesome. So we do a ritual every month in the Pleasure Priestess. You've now obviously done a couple of them twice.
Oh, they're so powerful.
Yeah. What are your favorites?
Pleasure mapping for sure.
Okay.
Because I was like, why do I have this spot right here on my like wrist?
Who would have thought?
That is super fucking tender and sensitive. And then just to realize like I like all different types of sensations, like slow, airy touch or like, the earthy, more gripping, grounding or like maybe a cool chain going across my back or like it was something cool. Just getting more clear on what lights me up, and it changes and it shifts like where I'm at in my cycle. But I also really love oil anointing. I love devotional and dressing. That's been really beautiful. Both I'm like, have I given it to a sister yet? I'm like, no, but one's visiting. I may do that this afternoon.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
she's curious. She's like, tell me about this priestess stuff. And so I'm like, maybe I'll just give you an experience. Yeah. But to devotionally undress, because again, back to like we're always rushing.
Yeah.
Taking the time, and then
Yeah.
how powerful and how like the oil anointing goes back for like eons, it seems like, used in different rites and passages, and whether it's like with royalty or mentioned in like I think Psalms 23. A friend just shared that the other day, and I was
Yeah.
like, mentions oil anointing, and so I've both given and received, and I love it.
Sweet.
And like seeing those attributes and honoring them in other people and having it reciprocated too.
Yeah. And for women that are like curious about the tantrika path, whether they're stepping into it for personal reasons, whether they want to step into this world to amplify their relationship to their beloved, to the masculine, or they're feeling like the curiosity of like, does this weave into my dharma? Like, what would you tell those women that are like, I'm just like, I feel like that, I feel my future self saying yes, but my current self is kind of freaked out, or like I have a bunch of excuses or reasons it's not the right time.
Yeah, well, it's like you could go as slow as you need to go. I think could be a powerful path for self-love, acceptance, and all that like goody nurturing of oneself, and also like incorporating or weaving into different relationships, because there's always like a piece with the rituals too. It's like, okay, how can I, if I'm going to be with a partner, or if I'm going to facilitate this in a group, or if another woman, or whatever it looks like. So you can go as slow as you need to go, but it's just so nourishing too. And I would say follow the curiosity, because it's there for a reason.
Yeah. What I like that you're highlighting is that the work is really about trusting yourself, right? So you're not going to be forced to do anything. Like, you're going to be invited to move at the pace of your nervous system. Like, I want you to trust yourself more than me and more than the process. So everything's a choice, right? But then like, and you get to use it however you want to use it. If you want to use these rituals, this work just for your relationship to self, great. But I'll also teach you down the line, if you want to share this with your boo thang or your Tinder date, like I've got you, or your sisters, or in a group or whatever. And then you're alongside other women that are also doing these rituals, and then like sharing about it in the WhatsApp chat. I freaking love when women share like the little things that they're doing.
No, like I just reconnected with someone, like just had a date on Saturday. Like we hadn't seen one another in years. And I was like, I can't wait to give him a devotional undressing. Like I just got the vision, and I'm like, I can't wait to share that with him.
Yeah, I feel like devotional undressing, like it sounds like, okay, cool, you're undressing someone, but like you don't know until you know.
Yeah.
You don't
like
know.
You can play with that little,
yeah, you don't know until someone
band for a while. You can do a little spank. You can do like just so slow and sensual. Can blindfold them.
You don't know what it's like to just be and feel for 15 minutes while someone literally like completely devotionally connects with you, gets on their knees, and like sees you as a literal queen or king, you know, and like the imprint that makes on your own psyche, like priceless, fucking priceless. So what's next for you? What are you most excited about in continuing your leadership in this world and work?
Oh, I'm loving the retreats, like the private immersion retreats, and then eventually like expanding to maybe possibly a group retreat or something. And it's cool. Like I just had someone reach out for potentially one later this month. So I'm like, love to like plan like maybe the different rituals I want to weave in or stuff like that. Or where it's going to be. And then the creative projects as well. I've been like working on like what's the juiciest thing. So I've been playing with this script, and I've been playing with this novel. And so it's fun to like weave in like the sexuality piece even on the pages, and say things in a different way, because it's like a character, but some of it's me, or, taking a different approach to that creative process. And then, maybe just more of the podcast and,
what's
and
your
connecting
podcast?
with our sex, drugs, and soul. Yeah. And then,
I've been on. So check it
but
out.
I want to have you back on in person.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I take round two.
Round two.
Yeah.
So good. We'll have it twice.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Yeah. The rituals though, or like the immersion retreats are really like, I'm like, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear that. I'm excited for what it's creating in the world, and like, what a fucking blessing that this is your life. You're getting paid to like fly to cool, amazing destinations, do what you love, and literally change someone's life. And like a lot of the clients, especially at that level, like they're investing like a lot of money. So they have a certain, they're carrying a certain amount of power in the world, right? And so to me, like I love working with those clients because it's like, I know that this person is managing potentially hundreds of other people, is probably married to a baddie as well. And it's like, I am impacting this person, and their impact is so big that they're going to bring this into all of these other places. And it's really
just continue to ripple on out and on out.
Yeah.
And like, or weave different threads on the tapestry of like all of us existing and being on this planet together.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd love for you to share where people can find you, learn more about you, your work, your book.
KristinBirdwell.com or on the gram, at Kristin Birdwell _. I had to think there for a second. And then the podcast is on all of the platforms, and there's links on my website too. So if you go to the website, you can find everything.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So Kristin will be also teaching more in the Pleasure Priestess, which is really exciting. So if you come into that program, you'll get more of her and her magic. And we're also hosting an event in like a few days. By the time this comes out, do you want to share a little bit about it?
So excited about it. It's like a sensual expression, artistic, self-love, kind of just like throwing out some different words that come to mind off the top of my head. But we're going to like maybe have a story sharing circle about like the stories that we've been told about our bodies, the ones that we're claiming or stepping into, or like the women that we're becoming. Also have some other fun ideas where we may like write mantras or affirmations onto the canvas after we press our body painted bodies to the canvas. So some of it's still like being woven, but there's a lot of sensuality, connection, sisterhood, healing.
Yeah.
Or harmonizing. I kind of like the word harmonizing right now over healing, but
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that take. I like that take a lot. Yeah. So you'll be able to walk away with like a literal piece of art of your gorgeous body and reclaim your story around your body and your possibility and your beauty and the masterpiece that you are. So I love it. So it's happening on October 19th. I think this is going to come out like literally a couple days before. So hopefully if you're listening, you can still make it and join us. But otherwise, there's going to be so many other fun things coming up, I know, for you in this world and work. And I look forward to continuing to collaborate. Any final thoughts?
I was like, oh yeah, I just thought about it. I'll be at Solar Punk for a writing workshop. And that's on the 17th. I believe.
Also
last minute.
Last minute invite. All right, loves. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Kristin, for being here. I hope you all have a sacred and sexy day, and I'll catch you next time on Talk Tantra to Me. Ta-ta. Over the years, I've been approached by many pleasure-based companies to promote their products, but I've only ever said yes to one person because I genuinely love these products so much, as well as the woman behind them. Wands, spelled WAANDS, is a crystal pleasure toy company, and they have been a part of my Tantra journey since the beginning. And they're not just toys, they're truly activators and beautiful sacred pieces of art that foster deep self-connection, pleasure, and transformation. These 100% pure crystal wands and yoni eggs help you unlock your body's wisdom, clear energy blockages, and amplify your pleasure, whether alone or with a partner. And it's not just about the products. For me, it's about the heart and the soul behind them. And the owner, Courtney, I absolutely adore her. She's been so generous to offer you, my beloved listeners, an exclusive 15% off with the code LEOLA, LEOLA. So if you're ready to honor your sacred sexuality and awaken your sensual energy, stepping into a pleasure-filled life, head to wands.com. Again, WAANDS, 2 A's, and use code LEOLA for 15% off. And you can always find the link directly in the show notes. Trust me, you're going to thank me later.